Hello.
How you doing?
How are you
doing that, man?
doing?
It's someone else's thing, but how are you doing?
But it's working. Good, hey? Good. I'm excited to be back.
Welcome to the GABFEST, guys.
We haven't been at it in so long.
I think it's a month now.
I think it has been a month. And you know what? It has been a month.
It's been a month. I think our last thing was the love, marriage, divorce.
Yeah, and I wasn't even here for that. So for me it's been even longer. so really it's been a struggle for me, and I'm really happy and excited to be back because it's been a minute since we've had the gap.
Yeah, it's been a
How have you been?
It's good. I've been saying, between the kids getting sick, did you see that meme going around? Half my half my income going to nursery school with a new virus every day.
And they're like, okay, cool. So
I've been under one of those where the kids are taking turns to be sick, and things have just been.
When the one gets healthy, then the other one starts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been one of those roller coasters. Mm-hmm. So, but we are back.
We're here and we move.
Yeah. So I tried the first Friday to bring one of the kids with while being sick, and then it just didn't work. If you take a kid out while they're sick, it just gets worse. So it turned into that. And then the next Friday, I was like, I'm not going to do it with the next one.
You know what? Let's just play it safe. Let's just keep the sanity intact.
And move along. So, welcome to the GABFEST, man. It has been a hell of a time, but we are here and we are excited to be back.
Like I said, I haven't been here for so long. So there was on a Friday, it's what's happening? This is the time. My body clock knows this is the time where we gab, we talk, we speak about all things life, things women.
When I tell Anka, hey, Anks, I don't know. Then she's like, no, I need the GABFEST. I need the GABFEST. So,
weekly fix.
So today, Anka feels today's topic is a bit heavy.
Yeah, it is a bit heavy though.
But it is something that's been trending. It's something that I feel like as women also, even as men, you need to know who your friends are. So,
as an avid watcher of the crime channel, right? It mainly or mostly, or the episodes I've seen so far, and there's
someone
quite a few.
Someone you know.
Yeah. But it's usually either girls, females, or women. Whether it be younger, doesn't matter which field or generation it is, it's usually the woman that gets the shorter end of the stick on this one. So I think it is an important topic to cover for us as women. But it's scary. It's creepy.
It is scary. So if you're joining us, our topic, and you don't know what the topic is and you haven't read what the topic is. Today's topic, we're speaking friends or enemies, right? Based on the story that's been trending about Shanquella Robinson. So I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, but the name is Shanquella Robinson. Shanquella. And so basically, to give you a background, right, of what happened with the story is a group of friends went to Mexico. American girls and boys went to Mexico for a friend's birthday. And within the first 24 hours of them being in Mexico, one of the friends, being Shanquella, ends up dead, right? So in all of this, the friends call the mom and tells the mom, listen here, she had alcohol poisoning, she's not feeling well. And then later on said she's unresponsive. The alcohol poisoning killed her, basically. So that was the first story that they carried forth to the mom and what happened to her daughter in Mexico. Anyway, they fly back.
They packed up her stuff.
They packed up and they fly back to America, leaving her body in Mexico. Mom tries to get the daughter's body, starts phoning Mexican police and authorities. I want my girl's body. Mexican authorities tell her cause of death is not alcohol poisoning. There was actually no form of alcohol found in her system. She actually died from a broken neck and a broken spine, right? So the mother when she hears this, she says she knew something is off because every friend had a different story to what exactly happened in Mexico. And I mean, for me, the fact that they packed up and left is already a what kind of friend are you that, you didn't make sure I'm okay, my body, not that I'm
Why
alive,
are we saying
but
these are friends? Like, why are we referring to these people as friends?
because at the end of the day, like I always tell you guys, you don't know if your friend is not your friend until something happens.
But I think it's safe to say now this group of people isn't friends. Like, after the fact, we can now say, let's just stop. She went with people whom she considered friends.
For the sake of the topic, we're gonna call them friends because we're trying to figure out friends or enemies, right?
I mean, even the whole situation, there is a video online where one of the friends is hitting her.
Yeah, so what happened is, the thing is, she died the week before, but then eventually nobody knew what happened. Why does she have a broken neck and why she has a broken spine until that video surfaced.
Yeah.
And in the video,
basically, she's naked.
She's naked.
One of the friends, the so-called friends, is hitting her around, and another friend is actually recording.
And the other friend is standing there asking her to fight back.
Yeah, is saying, "Why are you not going to hit her back?" And all she says, the only thing she says is no. Like, but she's being hit, like she's being thrown around like a rag doll.
Yeah, against the bed, against everything.
But she's naked. So there's so many questions about it in terms of, why is she naked? Why
that's
isn't
my
she fighting
biggest
back?
thing.
Yeah, like, why isn't she fighting back? And remember, this is the first day upon
On a
arrival.
trip, yeah.
Yeah. So they've just gotten there. If there's nothing in the system, this means that they haven't even had time to party. They haven't even had time to go for a
Yeah,
drink.
they haven't done anything yet.
Yeah.
Because what the one friend whose birthday it actually was went live after coming back to
listen to
America
him,
and
though.
everything.
I tried.
And I was really disturbed by the friend because he claims, and his flight ticket does show it, but he claims that he landed afterwards without the group. So he came afterwards, and by the time he came there, this incident already happened. But he says because the rest of the friends said that it was alcohol poisoning, he just went along with it. And on his live, people are asking, but if she was beaten to this extent, did you not see that, like, there was something wrong? And he says, I did see that her eye was bust, her lip was bust, but I didn't see the gush in her head. So he kind of contradicts himself with saying, I didn't know this happened. But then at the same time, he replies with, I did notice that there was something wrong with her face because of the blood and whatever. But then he goes further on, and this is what got me. The fact that it happened, whether it's your fault or not your fault, that he had no form of sincerity in the whole, guys, let me tell my side of the story. Because this is literally what he said. He's like, now, I don't know why you guys are coming at me because I was trying to help her ass. So that form of lingo is like, you're still calling her that on top of it.
I think a lot of that is explained with the culture, like how, like, maybe that's just the way they speak. Like, I know, like, in certain places, people just speak a certain way, and for us, that's like, that's just offensive. We just don't speak like that. So maybe that can but
it still sounds so disrespectful
and cold.
Yeah. It sounds cold.
For me, the other thing is, if I'm going to be a friend and I'm going to try and get my out, like, look, guys, I don't know why you guys are coming.
Sorry, before you say that, because it will fit in still with what you're going ahead with. He also says then, in this whole video, he picks up a Bible even, and he's like, I swear on this Bible. He was ready with his tickets for this live, a whole Bible and his ID to show what date he landed and whatnot. And he says, y'all coming at me. It was my birthday. All I wanted to do was have fun. I didn't even get to smoke a joint. I didn't even get to drink. And in my head, I'm like, that's what he's thinking. He's thinking, I didn't even get to do this.
Do the things that I wanted for my birthday.
Yeah.
And, that's very narcissistic. That can just be attributed to his personality, because that's narcissistic. Like, everything's about me. This trip was planned for me, But me as a friend, I'm just thinking, like, if I was sincere, like, I'm just trying to just, like, these aren't friends. Like, what was the nature of them when they chilled in general? Because
Yeah.
as a friend, and I come here and this person is just laying there, I'm gonna go see, but why does she have, oh no, she was drunk, whatnot, but go look, are you fine? Call the doctors, what are we doing? Because, I mean, I'm sure they first thought of what to do, because according to reports you were saying earlier that they called the reception or whatever.
They say they called reception, and reception called the nurse.
But this only happened the next morning.
The next day.
The next morning she
like
was found.
It was a few hours. So their story is this happened, and they came like 15 minutes later, because when the nurse found her, it was within 15 minutes of the incident. But the other story is that she was found the next morning by the maid of the hotel. So the two different
They're not
stories
suspicious at all.
is extremely different. And this is why the stories are so different. Because this happened in Mexico, they flew back to America. America can't do anything about it because it's not in their jurisdiction. And they back in America, so Mexico needs to kind of take the investigation to bring them back to be investigated. But luckily yesterday, FBI then, because of social media, and that's why we're sometimes thankful for social media, the pressure on social media and the why we were everybody was hashtagging say my name, was because they were trying to put pressure on the government and FBI to intervene because why are they leaving it to Mexico?
Yeah, because it's easy now to just say, oh no, this didn't happen under our jurisdiction, so we can't.
Because that's what they were doing.
That's what they were doing. They were basically just, like the Mexican authorities need to do something. But you know how Americans are. We are an American and we have rights and all of that, which, in this instance is going to help because I think there should be justice, because clearly if they are capable of doing this to one person, it's easy to do
it to
anybody else.
And for me, the fact that as much as it was one girl, and obviously this morning they came out to say there is another video, but they're not releasing the video because the video miraculously disappeared. That after this one friend, whatever their names are so complicated. After her piece of the video where she hits the other girl, what's her name, White?
Yeah, no.
Apparently she then comes in and gives her bit of a beating as well.
Yeah. And apparently that's the final blow, according to reports.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask Anks, so we're speaking about the whole friendships and the whole thing. I want to bring it to a side of travel, because remember, this didn't happen at home.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in their own state. It didn't happen like, come, let's go to Wombats for the weekend.
Plan is going to take.
So a lot of theories. Remember, people, when the government does nothing and the government's not saying anything, a lot of your theories come to play.
Yeah.
And one of the theories is that people feel like this was a planned assault. They planned, come, let's go to Mexico. This is what we're going to do to her, and then fly back.
It's not exactly a secret that the Mexican authorities or the way they handle the investigations isn't exactly on par with how the US would have done it, right? I mean, they've got their hands full with a lot of other stuff, cartels and whatnot. So, it's an easy scapegoat, but it's also a very good holiday destination because it's a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place, yeah.
Right. But you telling me that we're just going for this, and in the first 24 hours, no partying ensues.
No partying.
No alcohol ensues.
I couldn't even get irritated with your personality because we just got there.
Yeah, we just landed there. So, I mean, if we were all tipsy
and in the video,
drunk
she keeps saying, I'm sick of you.
Yeah, which means, and what's interesting, because it came to light that she paid for most of that holiday. So most of the finances, the Shanquella, she paid for most of that holiday.
Oh, wow.
So she contributed the most in order for them to go. So and she was known to be a successful businesswoman and all of that. So maybe they were just in it to get
for the money,
and which is interesting because this is what Laura Lee says. Welcome, Laura Lee. Hello to you. Some people are only loyal to what they what they can take from you and your life. Some friends don't love you. They love what you can offer them once and once the benefit stops. Real situations expose fake people. This goes
For friends and family.
But so maybe that speaks to motive. Maybe that was just motive. Like maybe they had a deal or something going on and there was finances involved. Like I'm speculating.
So with the terms of the bringing in the travel part of it, right? So there was a lot of people also saying people want to travel so desperately that you find a holiday and it can take 6 people. And you maybe have a friend. I say, Anka, but we need 6 people. And Anka says, okay, I know 2 people. They can jump in and whatnot. And they were saying basically you need to think about, as much as you're going to travel and it's cheaper to travel in a group, you need to think you don't know your friends or your family's friends or your friend's family and whatnot, and you planning to go to a whole different place with these people.
You better know
that if something happens, yes, do you trust these people? Number one, if something does happen, where do you run to because you don't know the area? Number two, if something does happen, you can't phone uncle to just say, Uncle, I need help. Those kind of things. People are too far to help you out. So they were also bringing across the part of how important it is to make sure that when we as women and as friends want to go travel, not to just throw it up in the sky and say, okay guys, we found a bed for 6 people to make it cheaper, that we all only pay 1,000 rand each. Don't you know of another 4 people that can join? So they're saying that because
it's like a Groupon kind of effect.
So because also investigation obviously is late, because FBI only joined now. They were questioning, are they actually a group of friends that chill together constantly? Or was it one of those situations where we need extra people to make the trip cheaper?
That speaks to motive, and I think that's plausible because we wanna find something. Because why would one person just randomly and kill someone? I mean, to take someone's life is a brutal act. Like, you have to be beyond conscious state, like of I'm conscious and I've got a moral obligation. You have to be beyond that to take someone's life. I mean, just hitting someone. Like, aren't you afraid that assaulting someone could just get you into trouble? Or is the moral compass that skewed? Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, you go on this holiday, you don't expect something would happen to you because you're going with people that you know, even if it's just an acquaintance. But I think it's important, like you said, we need to know when we go that far, it needs to be a close group. It needs to be someone that you've spent a lot of time with. Given this can also ensue, and most, doing research, most people who get murdered, whether it be a child, whether it be an old person, it doesn't matter. It's usually someone that's close.
Yeah.
It's a friend.
It's a family member.
It's a family member or a very close friend. It's rare that it's at random. And when it's at random, it's maybe a serial killer if we want to go to the extremes or whatever. But I mean statistically. So, I mean, there needs to be... And I'm sure there are warning signs of, I know we want to see the good in people, but there are usually warning signs. Maybe the person was just always nasty to you, or
don't just be friends with someone for 1 month and decide let's go on holiday together.
No, that's a red flag for me. Like I mean, I've been on holiday with friends, but we've been friends. And I didn't just go me. I went with my husband.
Yeah.
I made sure these people...
But this is what scares me. If you're going on holiday with 7 people, right? Okay, well, you're the 7th person and 6 people. At least think 3 people is on your side.
At least
think 3 people is on your side. Someone will step in
if something happens.
So with this video, I find it shocking that everybody's recording and nobody's helping the situation, but the feed, like the comments, is rather them not telling that one to calm down, stop, don't hit her like that, but rather telling Shanquella, why are you not hitting back? Aren't you gonna fight back?
Like that culture for me, I don't know if that's like a cultural thing or whatever, but that's just not on, because the reality of the matter is there were guys there. Why didn't they step in? Because this was a girl fight. Why didn't they step in?
And for me, the fact even that when they say, aren't you going to fight back? She says, no, I'm not. Doesn't it say let's stop this fight or something like that. Then I wanted to bring in, you were speaking about the culture now and everything. I wanted to bring in the fact about there's a specific TikTok that went quite viral of a guy that speaks about the culture. And specifically, he brings it across based on this story, right? And he says, why are your black people so angry right now with this whole thing? He's not saying it's right.
Yeah.
He's just trying to bring another angle.
He's trying to shed light.
He's trying to shed light. So what he's basically saying is black culture has the no snitching policy. Why, if something is on Instagram and goes viral, do we all want something to happen to these people and we're all trying to snitch, post, I know this one from then, this is their address and all those kind of things, because that's what's been unfolding. People is posting their social media accounts, people is posting their home addresses, their cell phone numbers and all those kind of things. So he's saying, why are we snitching now? But black culture has created a no snitch policy within the community, meaning that if you parked outside and someone breaks into your car, but the street is full of people, no one saw, and you're like, please just tell me who stole my radio so that I can get it, and it's no, we don't snitch. He then also brings up the fact that we all know this one uncle is touching certain family members in the wrong way, but we all keep quiet. Nobody is allowed to know that this uncle is inappropriate with the young kids. The no snitch policy. So he wants to know, why is it that we have the no snitch policy when it's far from you? I mean, close to you. Which way around? When it doesn't affect you, basically. But when it's something that's this viral and everybody wants to have a say because it's quick following, we want everybody to snitch. What's your take on that whole concept?
Look, it's something that's now embedded in the people, where you don't say something because it was initially started to protect their own, but the challenge now is
it's their own against their
own. Now they're fighting and their own. It's created now where you suffer the abuse of your own people now, because no one is supposed to say anything, and a lot of the times, a lot of that is also, there was fear first. They were first met with fear. So fear was engraved in them. If you speak this and this will happen to you. Now that's not there to a large extent, given that in the poorer communities, or the communities where gangsterism and drug violence and all of that is still rife, that is still a big thing. But in other situations where it doesn't need to be, why can't we protect our own by saying, but we must help our own people? Now it's created a negative effect for their own people. But it's already embedded now. It's become culture. It's become, this is the moral compass. You don't snitch. If you snitch, I mean, a lot of the stuff, if you look at people who are being imprisoned, I'm no snitch.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like you're tarnishing my reputation if I say something.
If I snitch, yeah. And then the other thing is, if you do snitch, you fear what happens to you next.
What happens to you next? And that has created sort of like a gap where people don't stand up for each other, where people don't create, no, we must protect our own. This happened to this person. It's not supposed to. It's not right. The moral compass has now shifted a little bit because that has been engraved in culture now. It's become a culture to not say anything. And for me, I can see what he's saying. What he's basically saying is, guys, this thing that you've perpetuated for your own culture is working against you. So stop it.
Because he's asking, when are we going to notice and open our eyes to what's happening around us?
Yeah.
When is it too late? That's basically what he's asking.
Because now someone is dead. And I mean, how many people isn't dead because of that?
He uses the He uses the example as well when he speaks about the Migos guy. What's his name?
Oh, I caught that on, but I didn't know what he was speaking about.
What's his name, Lee? Offset. Was it Offset or the other one?
Oh, yes.
Offset. Isn't Offset Nick Cardi's boo? It's the other one. We'll figure out his name now. But he is the one of the Migos guys. And take off. So he brings that example in, and he says, how many times in the community, and we can even bring this to home, in the colored communities, when people are dicing on every corner, and how many lives are killed through dice. And he says, how is this normal in our community for someone to stab someone or shoot someone because of a dice game, but this happens to take off, and now everybody's jumping up for justice. We need to catch whoever shot Offset. So he's trying to bring it in as in, when are we going to think for each other, your brother and your sister that's next to you, and not somebody that has the fame card behind them or somebody that's trending on Instagram?
Because it might very well be your family member.
It might. That's why he's saying, when it gets close to home and you've already created this culture against you, who's going to help you when it happens to you?
And that's exactly what happened, because if that culture was broken, or at least a crack somewhere, someone would have said something. Because those people, all of those people that were there, know what happened.
They know what happened.
They know. And because each one is just trying to save their own skin. Because first it was just the girl who was in the initial video that was, that was aired.
Yeah, the Deja. But
Deja.
Can we just call it D?
Yeah, let's just call it D for us and the tongue dying. Everyone blamed it on her because the evidence is there. She was hitting
the
her.
video is there.
And then later on, now it came out that apparently the other
piece of the video,
which hasn't come to light because it just miraculously disappeared. She was the one that basically slammed her.
Slam dunked her.
Slam dunked her.
And that was the cause of the final. Because they're saying that's when she actually stopped breathing. She was still okay before that, and then she was still breathing and she was still responsive until the slam happened, which resulted in her neck being broken because she had a neck slam, according to reports. They had her arms around her neck or whatever, and she was slammed. So that's according to reports, and that was the killing blow. But now they're shoving it completely onto this girl. Yeah. And now the first video that came out, they're not blaming her. They're saying the other girl needs justice, but I'm feeling everybody needs to be held accountable.
Let's be real, because the guy with the camera, with the
saying
phone,
fight back,
you standing there, you have it in you to step in and say, guys, this is not right. Also, you're recording this woman while she's naked. How degrading is that?
Exactly. My mind goes to what happened before the fight, because why is she naked?
And they're all in a room. But the bed is made up.
The bed is made up.
The bed is made up. There's nothing.
But remember, they just got there.
Yeah.
They didn't even sleep yet.
So my thing is this: was she getting undressed because she wanted to get out of her travel clothes, plain clothes, or whatever? Because she's completely, but she doesn't even have a.
It's just so sad as a whole, because this is another aspect that came across, one of the theories about it being friends and whatnot. And this is the problem when people don't investigate, right? Because it leaves so much for speculation.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that somebody asked was, guys, was this not some form of a sacrifice in any way, in terms of it's a group of friends who maybe started a gang or something like that, and the one friend had to prove themselves, because everybody feels like this was planned, that it was not. I think it was premeditated. By the way.
My personal theory is that it's premeditated. You don't just pick a location that's far. Under the guise, obviously, of a birthday or whatever, and it's all planned. And on the first day,
that happens, and then lie about what happened.
And how long after that? If they left, this happened in the first, which means they left the day after they arrived.
Most probably, because if they're saying the maid found her, but also speculation, because there's two different reports based on.
It's all speculation.
There's a Mexican report and then there's the US report.
Yeah, but you're not trying to get into trouble the first day on holiday. You're at least trying to get the bulk out of it.
But that's why some people are saying, do you think this was not something that was gang related? One needed to prove themselves to be a part of this clique or something like that. With so many people creating their own cultures, we see what's happening right now. You don't even have to be social media savvy to know how everything is going out of hand, in terms of sangomas, in terms of witches, in terms of shamans. Everything
it's become popular culture.
It's become popular culture, and we're all trying to be this. Let's create our own universe / religion
power hungry.
slash all those kind
Yeah.
of things. So a lot of people is questioning, could that be a part of it, and that's why no one's helping? And she was like chosen or something like that, because people is just trying to figure out if this is a group of
Put
friends.
this one answers, yeah.
Wow, they're just trying to figure out how can friends do this.
And the question begs in terms of, was she just the extra? Maybe she was just invited, like they the friends,
And she was,
She was
do you
just-
want to come along?
because she's got the money.
Or even it could be one of those things where I say travel, you're trying to find someone and she thinks everybody's paying 3,000 Rand when everybody's paying 500 Rand, and that's why she happened to pay the most.
The most, yeah. I mean, why would she? And also, I'm sure that if she's saying in the video, "I'm tired of you," which means there's already been
Yeah, so
undercurrents.
there has been, yeah.
There's
They
already
keep
been
saying,
something.
I'm tired of you. So I feel like, I feel like the world is going to such a place where we're so desperate to get acceptance.
Yeah.
In no matter what we do, whether it be likes, whether it be everything. Because let's also be honest, why are you recording it? You're recording with, I feel they think it wouldn't have gone that far to death. Maybe. And that's why the whole recording was done. You know, if you post the pic, you know how these violent ones go so viral.
Yes. And then it's like, it summer goes,
And you're famous within...
yeah, you just infamous in like a couple of hours or whatever, because everything it just gets shared. But I'm trying to figure out the logic as a perpetrator. Like, I'm the one doing this now. Why in heaven's name am I trying to record it? You get what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, the whole fame thing. But I'm going to get into trouble. I'm the one that's going to go to jail for this. I'm the one that's
But
going
I'm
to...
not doing it in my... I feel like they knew they can't get into trouble because it's off. And like we say,
That
these
could
are
be an
business
aspect.
people. They know if I commit a crime in a different country.
Yeah, but that theory would have been plausible if there was no extradition. But there's extradition in Mexico to the States. So, there's a little bit of gray area there, given also that it's a known fact that the authorities there is not the greatest
a lot of videos
investigation.
was like, but guys, we also know Mexico.
Yeah, so there's all of that. So maybe they were like, we'll get away with it easier there, maybe we'll get some backlash and it will die down and we'll be all okay.
Yeah. So me bringing in the whole video thingy, right? Recording, fame, whatnot. It's kind of like an introduction into the next point. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, the fact that every single movie, right, is so violent.
Yeah.
Everything is 16 now because of violence. Violence also being in terms of before you hear the gunshot, or they depict there was a stab,
Yeah.
but you don't really see the gruesomeness of it.
You just see the after effect.
Yeah,
maybe a
and
little bit.
movies has become, what's the effects called, the makeup effects and
special
all of that,
effects.
the special effects has become so good
Real,
that
yeah.
it looks so gruesome in the moment that you're like, I watched the What Woman is King,
King.
and for me it was so off-putting in terms of how brutal it is. And yet again, it's a movie depicted Africa just being people fighting for land. The rest of the world might see it as, oh, Africa. But in my eyes, I just see it the same way I say Ashley saw Wakanda. A whole lot of African groups fighting for land. And that's what I found, because it was the woman soldiers basically killing off other soldiers to get their people safe and get the land and those kind of things. But why I say it disturbed me so much, the brutalness of the movie. What's that knives called?
Machete.
The machete. All the killings is basically done with a machete.
Yeah, which is very gruesome.
Which is very gruesome. And I feel like movies has made this so normal because we see it in the smallest movie. Now lately, if they don't show it, you're like, they didn't even show, the movie scene as it wasn't great.
Yeah.
because those scenes are taken out because it's been so
Yeah,
normalized.
because we want to see the special effects.
You
we
wanna
wanna
see all of that.
Why didn't they show you this is such a fake or low budget movie? Because
Yes,
it didn't
because the
even
blood isn't the right color and
yeah.
all those kind of things. Do you think it becoming so normal, it being in our faces 24/7, if you live in a community where there's gunshots every day? Just the other day I was in Aldo's and there was like a few gunshots, and in my head I'm trying to think, duck and dive.
Yeah.
I'm not used to this. And everybody in the house runs out to go see who it was and certain things like that. And I'm like, how is this normal?
Yeah.
It's become so normal to see people shot in the head. And when there is shootings, these videos are all over Facebook. It's all social
become people's
media. It's become
statuses.
people's statuses on WhatsApp.
It's disturbing.
Do you think it's become so normal that now everybody has it in them to kill?
Here's my problem, right? Besides the fact that it's become normal, it's become glorified.
It has become glorified.
It's become this thing where it's so cool. Just a sidetrack for a short second. I mean, I watched many serial killer documentaries just for to see what's going on in their minds, like is
Yeah.
it normal, that kind of thing. And the documentaries,
What's the history? How
what's
did they
the
grow
issue,
up?
like all of that kind of stuff. And I can handle documentaries because it's people narrating and telling the stories, the investigation and whatnot. What was disturbing is when they made the actual series of Jeffrey Dahmer. Now what they did there was complete acting. They reenacted this whole thing. Now remember, you need to be in a state of mind to reenact something that they did this
Yeah.
gruesome act, but it glorified this whole thing where people now, it's become cool. So not long after that, we had our own Jeffrey Dahmer here in Joburg in town, right? Because now it's like, they're gonna make a movie about me. The whole thing with Ted Bundy, it's become this thing where people think now it's cool because they're gonna, if I do this long enough, or if I do this gruesome
And
enough,
it becomes a joke
It
afterwards.
does.
Because with Jeffrey, the only thing people remembered was this move. And everybody's TikTok was Jeffrey Dahmer dance. And it's like, are we taking away from the part that this was a serial killer
The seriousness
and
of it.
finding the funny in it?
Yeah, and not just that, it's just demonic in nature. But now what's happening across the board, people have become desensitized.
Yeah.
So now it's everywhere. It's no longer just we're telling the life of, and you need to watch out for these traits. This is what you see.
And they're
like
becoming rich through this.
yes, people are making money. So what are we doing? We're pumping more into the marketing of it, and all of this is gruesome.
I mean, in terms of when they have these movies, they're paying these people, whether in jail or not, with Netflix. So, and from what's the show we did with the girl swindler?
yeah,
and
I can't even remember.
I also can't remember her name, but the girl that acted famous, acted rich and everything. Netflix paid her out to such an extent that she is actually rich now.
Yeah, like I mean,
The Senzo thing that just came out. Even something like that. Guys, this murder case of Senzo, the whole week on the news, we're forgetting the fact that we're trying to investigate who murdered Senzo.
yeah, it's become
This week it's
sensationalized.
become, why didn't his best friend, who is in the Netflix documentary, give the money to his family? In your head, it's like, can we find the killer?
Yeah, can we get to the bottom?
Can
of
we
this?
get to the point of it? And I think that's exactly what you're saying. We're so sidetracked with these things
Yeah.
that it becomes so fabricated to look good.
to look good? And now we have, because we remember what you look at is what you condition your mind with, and later on, this is like, it's most normal. So to kill someone it hits different now because it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's glorified. Because what's happening now, on the one side of the scale, people have created awareness. So what now? The FBI is getting involved. On the other side of the scale, these people are becoming famous too.
They're becoming famous because now their lives, that guy's live, just to explain his part of the story, had more than 5,000 views.
Okay, so what's happening?
Watching it live, not after.
Yeah. So now what's happening to our YouTube account? So our YouTube account now needs to pay out.
Yeah.
So we're making money now. So there's two sides to this.
To this
to the scale, because he's going on YouTube. He's not going on a platform where he's not paid. I'm just trying to get my story out. He knows exactly what he's doing by going on YouTube and posting that there. And also because there's already such a big following. You were mentioning earlier that people were doing makeup or nails or whatever,
Yeah.
and hashtagging this.
So people were literally showing their business. So a few of the accounts, there was some girl that was doing eyelashes, but she hashtagged Shanquella Robinson in a caption to get views.
Which is disturbing. So what? In Afrikaans, it's an interesting saying. It says die een se dood is die ander se brood. Loosely translated is the one's death is the other's bread. So meaning to say that I'm going to get something off of it if someone dies, which was usually for your undertakers and people selling coffins or whatever.
That saying.
But that is literally what's happening here now, because someone has died. Now it's being glamorized, it's being sensationalized.
And let's be honest, the way this is hitting on social media, there's going to be a documentary. I mean, it's involving Mexico, it's involving America. Before you know it, these people are being paid out to give their part of the story.
Yes, they're being paid. And, we all watch Netflix, and Netflix is just waiting to jump on it, because where something has a bit of sensation, people will watch, because people now want to know the whole story.
And Netflix, I feel, glamorizes it a lot in terms of, how do you really know that happened in the room?
Yeah, like there's a whole reenactment. So you were there. So why aren't we locking you up? That kind of vibe. But it has made it normal. It has made it to the point where, and people go like, I'd rather be known as a hero or even an infamous person, as long as a lot of people, and people are vain in that sense.
There's a thing that somebody was saying, I can't remember who it was, that our people are struggling to make a name for themselves rather than leave a generation, a legacy
Yes.
for the next generation.
Yeah.
So everything is just, what can I get, without the mindset of, what I'm getting is for the benefit of the next generation.
Yeah. It's just for me right now. Hence, guys, it was my birthday. I couldn't go smoke a joint. It's about me. It's about the now.
And in this video, he's smoking a joint. And then when he picks up the Bible, he literally says, let me put my joint down. And then he puts hands on my Bible. I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it's nonchalant. I'm just trying to prove my point here, guys. Just take the focus off of me. I'm just trying to get my views. This isn't about me.
Why are you coming at me? It's just the issue of... So what's your thoughts in terms of the whole concept of friends?
Well, as we know, I have a lot of friends, guys.
Your friends can fill a bus.
My friends can fill a bus. I mean, every other week I'm asking a question for a friend. So for me, I'm very skeptical, guys. I don't have a very big group of friends. Yes, I've been hurt before, but I think I'm also... I'm skeptical when it comes to certain things, because I feel like... and likewise... I'm skeptical because I feel like that person must bring something to the table. But a lot of the times I also feel like, I can't bring this to the table, so let me not become too involved. And I think that is a healthy aspect when it comes to, we must do introspection for ourselves, given the fact that a narcissist won't do this. What are we bringing to the table? For instance, if we bring it back to the story, those guys were in the room, why weren't they helping out? So clearly you're not bringing much to the table then as a friend. So you can't call yourself a friend. So for me, those I'm very big on red flags. Not saying that I'm going to be paranoid and skeptical about everyone, because you can't. No man is an island. You can't be alone. So you're going to let people in, and also be mindful of the fact that this person is going to make mistakes. So you don't want to be an extremist now.
Yeah.
I can't have friends because I don't trust anyone. No, but I think you need to be mindful to say, okay, fine. Do a bit of research to see what is toxic traits, because not everyone is equipped to know, this doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Some people just genuinely blindly trust.
Intuition also.
That is the thing.
Go against that.
Something that we as Christians we take for granted is the fact that we do have a spirit of discernment.
That's my biggest.
Yeah.
I always say, I feel spirit of discernment ain't right me. I'm praying you're gone.
That's the thing. And I'm telling you, more often than not, I'm always spot on about a person in terms of Xavier will come in and I'll say, watch out for that one. Watch out for this.
I'm the same, but
And
because of the sake of your husband, you try to
Yeah.
tag along.
You try to tag along and you're like, I'll be out here I'm watching you, I'm watching you, to protect. Not throwing out the baby with the bathwater, knowing that people don't always have the perfect traits. But we do have a spirit of discernment. And more often than not, then Xavier will come, this happened. I'm like,
For me,
You
I
might
don't
not
have
have
an issue with personality.
Yes.
I have an issue with the slyness of why people do certain things.
Yes.
So if you are grumpy all the time, I can still handle you because
it's your personality.
it's your personality. Or let's say you're going through something and I'm always the one that's speaking, or you always the one that's speaking, or anything like that. I can understand something like that in terms
If you're
of
not
being
if you're an introvert.
if you're an introvert.
Yes.
Or not necessarily. I just mean in terms of if I'm the one that's always giving my 10 cents in a conversation, or
Yeah.
I'm always complaining about something. You have your time as well where you always complain. I can take that.
Yeah.
But
There's reciprocation there.
then there's the side of slyness where you pretend a certain thing in front of me, and then tomorrow this is said, that is said, and I can't handle that. Are you in my presence to scratch stories to move along?
Oh, and then you still give an opinion too.
Or,
Yeah.
do you get what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say? So I can do personality in terms of how you feeling, are you grumpy,
But-
is this your character? No, I don't want to say character because character is the sly part.
That's what I'm saying. When your character comes into play,
Yeah.
that's where I question. So, yes, I can do personality as well. But people, who was it that said, was it Oprah that said, when people show you who they are, believe them?
Yeah, the first time.
The first time, yes. I think that's an important
Yeah.
aspect there. If people show you the first time who they are, then believe them. Because innately, that's their character. Unless they've really gone out of the way to show you, look, I did overstep because I didn't realize this and the other. And also, it also depends on the magnitude of what this person did. What this person did in order, because I think people genuinely do forgive and they can forgive, but don't forgive blindly.
Yeah.
Forgive in the sense that that you have boundaries in place to say, okay, fine, you've done this before, so I don't trust you in this area. You're gonna have to show me in this area that I can trust you. Because I think it's so important, because the people who you surround yourself with have so much influence over your life. For instance, Shanquella, it was her life. She didn't make it out of that to live another day. In other instances, it influences whether it be your marriage, whether it be your family life, whether it be, just your daily life. Friends have a way of setting the equilibrium in your daily life.
Yeah.
So it's important to surround yourself with proper people.
And also, can I add to that with the fact that friends, whether it be marriage or not, friends sometimes have a bigger say
Yes.
than what your partner does.
Yes.
Because sometimes when your partner says something, you don't hear it with the same tone
Yeah.
as where a friend can say the same thing and you believe it, or vice versa. It's just not the same thing. So it's so important, like you say, who you surround yourself
Yep.
with, because whether it comes to friends, they can destroy what you've built,
Yep.
or they can help you build it even further.
They can help. I mean, I know of instances of people who, best friend is helping to plan the wedding, and, best friend is out here doing the whole bridal party thing. And then next thing you know, best friend is marrying your fiance, which is why it's important to know who your friends are, but also to know where their boundaries must be. I know people grow up and they're like, I've never had that, so it's easy for me to comment on it. I've never had that. Oh, this is my best friend. We've grown up since we were in diapers, and
Yeah.
we've got each other's backs no matter what. I've never had that kind of extreme scenario where I see TikToks where people are in bed and they're like, yeah, I'm the third wheel. My best friend got married, but he didn't know that he's going to have a second wife or whatever.
I had a friend that did that in my relationship, my previous relationship. Everywhere we go, this friend was with, and if we introduce ourselves, she's literally introduced herself as the third wheel. And I was always like, I'm uncomfortable with this.
That's toxic, because that's how just later on you just hear something's happening and then just best friend becomes the new
Girlfriend.
best thing, the girlfriend, and you just the side chick on the side. And there must be boundaries in any relationship setup. There must be boundaries for you to know. I mean, the only boundaries I don't have is with my husband, because we are one. We're supposed to be one. But anyone other than that, I mean, they can't be crawling around in all spheres of my life, in who I am. So I think in that instance, and I know it's difficult. It's not in everyone to find, okay, what are the red flags? And you don't want to make someone.
You don't also want to look for everybody's red flag.
I'm gonna meet this person. Oh, okay, what's so suspicious? The way you're holding the glass, it's just too weird. We're not trying to bring that across. We're just trying to bring awareness across, that you must be aware of yourself and be aware of common red flags. If I was in a friendship for so long, I never realized how toxic this friendship was till way after I got married, and realizing this person actually cut me off because I couldn't do something for them. And going back, and there's a lot of times today still that I lay in bed and I'm having maybe just a casual conversation with myself, and then the thought crosses, oh yeah, I had this conversation with that person the last time. And then I realized, but this person was actually very narcissistic, and they were actually mean. Laughing it off, and how they tell, oh, but you're so skinny. What do you know? When they had issues about their weight issues, and then you're just trying to maybe just give a comment. They're like, oh, but what do you know? You're so skinny. I'm like, that's, and then laughing it off, and then you're like,
that actually you were trying to put me down.
You were trying to put me down, but in the moment you were laughing, like, that's funny, but in retrospect, that's not funny. That's just toxic.
Yeah.
And in the moment, I didn't see it. And looking back, I had a couple of those friends, and then they would put themselves, when you organize something, they would put themselves in the front. Oh no, we'll organize this. When it was their stuff, oh no, you can't be involved here. You can just come. Do you get what I'm saying?
The friends that when it's your things, you always make sure they invited first.
Yeah.
They should know what's happening.
Yeah.
But when it's your turn, you just see on social media, they had this event. They went here, and then you like, that's also one thing I think is very important to take note of.
Yeah.
When it comes to friends, you might see one person as a friend, but does that person see you as that friend? And that's something I had to learn like really hard, and it's happened lots of times in my life, that I feel like, oh, we so good. Yeah. We like sisters, or we this, we that, we that. But whether it be an achievement or anything, you will never know of that achievement, because they don't think of you in that way. You can be praying for, let's pray for this together.
Yeah.
And when it happens, you're not in their thoughts to say, listen here, it came to pass.
But, we've been praying for this. I asked you to pray for this. They're just like, oh yeah.
You see, and not you are.
You.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's also one thing that's very important when it comes to friendships. It needs to go both ways in terms of how you feel about each other.
Yeah.
So you might think you're my bestie, but that person doesn't.
Like, you'll come in the room
give
like,
a toot.
Oh, this is my best friend, this is my sister. And then when they introduce you, oh, hi, this is my friend, so-and-so and such. And then they go on their way. Those are red flags, because they don't see you.
They don't see you the way you see them.
And I think it's very important to see, and as like Laura Lee said, that difficult situations show fake people. Like, show fake people, but you don't really need to be in a difficult situation to see it.
I feel your example was brilliant right now, in terms of when you introduce me to somebody else, do you introduce me to make me sound like I'm a bad person, or I'm a less of a person, to make yourself shine a bit more?
Yeah.
Or do you introduce me in my best, oh, she's this, oh my word, but sincerely, in terms of, and
consistently also.
Yeah, because you get those friends also where you think you're friends and they do compliment you, but they compliment you like this. Oh, Anks, oh, by the way, is this that dress? Did you cut it?
No.
Oh, it looks like that dress you used to sell.
Oh, no. This is my new stock, guys.
Oh,
it's a top.
It looks like that.
I cropped it, though. Yeah, I know, the baby doll dress.
Yeah. So
that threw me off for a second. I'm like, I was midway listening. No, it's not my baby doll dress, guys. This is my new stock. It's a puff sleeve, and it's a full top. It's not a crop top. Thanks for the advertising opportunity. No, this is not sponsored. Not paid partnership.
To the fact where a friend will say, oh, you look so good today. Listen to the difference. You look so good today versus, oh, where did you buy your top? Your top is nice.
Yeah. Or the top is nice. They won't say, you look pretty.
You look
today.
pretty.
Yeah.
Hear the difference in terms of or don't just say, oh, your makeup is much today. When you actually think it's nice, but
Yeah.
you don't want to say straight out, you look good today. So you're like, oh, you have on a lot of makeup today, eh?
Or did you put on eyelashes
Did you
today?
put eyelashes today?
Like just say
Those
you look
kind
pretty.
of slight comments
Yes.
to me brings the borderline. Friends, I don't want to use the word enemies. We used enemies today based on the fact of the main
We'll call them
topic.
frenemies.
But the frenemies, or people
Yeah.
that pretend to be there for you, but
Yeah, you know the saying that goes, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
no, I don't agree with that.
I
huh?
also don't agree with that. Why? Because that's
The only
exactly
time
what
that
happened.
works is if you want revenge.
There's
There's enough revenge movies, that when you
Yeah, or
I'm gonna
you've
take you
got
down.
malicious intent. But I'm also not like that, because the reality of the matter is there's a snake in my camp now. If I know that this one's not for me, I'm not gonna stay close to them, because I don't want to know what their next move is. I don't want to be in this. I don't even want them to consider me, because if they consider me, it's gonna be in malicious intent, with malicious intent. So for me, it's like I want a safe space, which is why I have very few people in my inner corner. There's very few people that call me friend or get to know me for who I really am. And because I'm also very low maintenance, when we see each other, we see each other. And that's maybe something I had to work on. But I also had to question my sincerity in a friendship. And I think that's the best thing I could do for a friend. What is my sincerity? Why am I in this? Am I in this because this person is always nice, or we're always going out, or we're always doing the other thing, the other stuff, and they paying or whatever? What is my intention? And if I feel like no, but it's not that sincere, then I must work on who I am, and that's the best thing you can do for
It's the best
someone
thing.
else.
'Cause the other thing also is there's also, I feel, some friends hold a hierarchy.
Yep.
The hierarchy friendships where I
Yeah.
maybe have the better job,
Yeah.
so my say goes.
Yeah.
If you say we're going there, but I don't want to go there, but because I have the money, we're going where I want to go.
And those are the toxic friendships I came out of. I came out of people who toxic friendships that they were older than I was. So I was young and dumb, and they had that superior. But I studied, and you didn't study. So my opinion is valid. But how
You
can
can't
you
have
say
an
that you
opinion.
can't have an opinion, and then they laugh and they'd speak over you? And in retrospect, having lived my life now, having gone through marriage and all of that, and you're like, but actually I was qualified to say something about it then, because a lot of those conversations replay now lately, and it's like, oh, okay, that was. Then you start seeing the red flags of the toxicity of the friendship. And now when you're in a friendship, you're in a conversation, now you're like, no, you just need to be more confident in who you are. Just because they are going to be, and that is our nature, us as women. We want to shine. So when you come into a room, you want to be the one that shines. But that doesn't mean I must smack your crown off your head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because even with the hierarchy sense, it also comes to a point where also the friends that maybe you don't place yourself as higher, but the friends aspire to be you, but then we just believe everything you say, because if it worked for you, surely it will work for us. Kind of a thing. And it turns it into then what is your, like you say, the introspection in terms of, are you there for friendship, or are you there, I want what you have? And if you tell me to jump, I'm going to ask how high and how many times. Because I want what you have.
So I think that has a lot to do with your own self-confidence and how you see yourself. Because you say you meet someone, you're like, oh, this person, how did this person make this money? How did this person get so far in their career? So now you're not a groupie, but now you're trying to, you get what I'm saying? Be a pleaser because you want to be in there, and not cloud seeker, but
pleaser.
If I'm friends with this one, maybe this one can elevate me to a different level, which boils down to, are you in the relationship for what you can get out of the relationship? But I think that has a lot to do with your own self-esteem and your own confidence, because when you're not confident, you are going to just follow instead of creating your own sphere, your own space to say, I'm strong,
and as
and
much
I bring
as you
this to the
want,
table.
and as much as you want that, because I do believe you should have friends that can take you higher. Not in the terms of like financial or something,
Yeah.
but whether it be grow your personality, grow you out of negative traits,
Yes.
somebody that speaks to you, you know, the way you deal with this isn't good,
Yeah.
those kind of things.
But that's positive aspects, though.
Yeah, so I'm saying that even if somebody does that for you,
Yeah.
you as a person also need to remember that you also have your own mind.
Yes.
You also have your own thoughts. You also have your own, but I don't agree with that opinion.
Yeah.
And it's okay because we can have a conversation. We don't have to have an end result in what's right and what's wrong.
That's true. And where that the saying comes from, straight talk breaks no friendship. I know, don't crucify me. It has a different
It breaks
meaning.
lots of friendships.
It breaks. Don't crucify me. But what I'm saying is, if I don't have an opinion in this friendship, are we really friends, or is this just a dictatorship? Or am I just a groupie? What am I? I think it's important for you to know that you can have it, and you guys don't have to be rude about it. Say it, and say it nicely. Have a nice conversation. Be opinionated, but be opinionated in a healthy way, so that you guys can go forward. Because what's the saying? It says, I'm full of sayings today, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
If you're the biggest fish in the pond, you're in the wrong pond. Which means that you need to be in a group of, you need to also associate yourself with people that are a bit
Can
higher
elevate you.
and can elevate you.
But at the same time, don't look down on people that where you can elevate them.
Yes, because yes, you can inspire. Why do we have influencers? Do you get what I'm saying? There's something for someone. You can be inspiring to someone else, but it shouldn't be in a toxic way. And the person that you inspire shouldn't become a groupie either. But you should be able to elevate them to the next place. I mean, isn't that what friends are for? We're supposed to be there to help each other out, be there for growth and all this type of stuff. But there are boundaries from either side. If either side is toxic, I'll run.
You run.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my
We
personality is very, I greet you when I see you, but if you've done something and I bring it up and you don't understand what I'm saying, or you don't want to hear what I'm saying, in terms of, I had a good friend where I spoke about the last time on the episode when we were speaking about friendships in adulthood.
Yeah.
And I had a good friend where we had a disagreement on what I think is my love language versus what she thought the love language was. But when I was trying to explain, I feel like I did this and that was more than enough, kind of a thing. Why couldn't you? I feel like if you don't try to understand that as well, I'll still greet you and I still want everything to go well with you. And I'll still ask you how things are going, but I'm never going to be
on that level
level we were on. Because in my mind, I take it as you don't want to understand me.
Yeah, you're always going to have disagreements. And if you don't find common ground with your friend, where you come to the point where this is what their mind frame was and we can move past it. But if you're constantly going to bring it up, if you're constantly going to rehash it.
Now, that's my thing. Don't constantly remind me of something we already spoke about.
That means you've never dealt with it. I was going somewhere with this.
Sorry.
Okay, go on. I'll get my thought back just now.
Me also having had to say, I forgot what I wanted to say, but it was also something. Oh, I saw someone's status this morning that was so in line with what we were speaking just before we moved to that, where someone's status was how somebody treats you is how you allow them to treat you. So if you put up those boundaries, and if you feel like maybe you're being treated unfairly, or people is disrespecting you, or people do A, B, and C, like with this, obviously it doesn't make sense because this was pure murder.
Yeah.
So, but in everyday life, as much as this is everyday life, because we're hearing more and more stories about
and younger.
That girl that was shot at the birthday party also.
Yeah. And you know what the disturbing part is? They recorded the shooting.
Which means it was premeditated.
Yeah.
As well. Because how did you know to record her before they shot her?
Yeah, she walks past with a bottle of water and she's nonchalantly, and she turns around and she's just being shot, and they end up shooting in the face. What's disturbing about that is that they actually, people put that up on their statuses. No trigger warning,
video,
nothing. Just
no blur.
No, nothing. Everything is live. And I think people think it's a movie, like you were saying, desensitized. But going back to the thought that I thought I'd lost, I've got it back now. No, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Meaning to say, in your situation with your friend, that you feel like you're not upset, you're not, you're not, you're not. What do you say here in Afrikaans? Bearing a bumper. It's like a thing I learned here.
We know what it means. We don't have to put it in English.
Right. You're not keeping this thing, but it doesn't mean you have to reconcile to the point where you guys are now besties again. It just means that I'm mature enough to greet you. I'm mature enough to be sensitive to know that something's happening. You're like, hi, congratulations, and all of that. But we're not going to be on that level anymore because.
But we could have still been on that level.
If we'd moved past it, but we can't move past, which means we can't be on that level because we're miscommunicating. Because clearly we're not. Either you want me to handle it differently and you're not communicating it properly, but clearly we don't understand each other. And do we have each other's backs in that sense? Will you be my go-to when, something's happening to me? Will you be my go-to? Because you're hashing about something that was trivial and I tried to explain to you and we tried to move past it. I've tried to make amends after that, but you're not getting past that. So there's only so much I can do about it.
Yeah. So that comes to the end of the show. And we say thank you with a dankbare hart.
Hiermee staan ek terug met 'n dankbare hart.
Yeah. Isn't thank you and dankbaar the same thing?
Thankful is dankbaar.
Okay. We are thankful. We are dankbaar that you have joined us today.
It was fun.
It was
Heavy
it
but
was
fun.
a heavy topic, but it's good to get these topics out because sometimes we're not aware of the situations we're in. And when this comes to light, you actually question, but I'm in this situation right now.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
When you have an outside look.
So thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a while, and we will be back next week, guys. We will be back.
Yeah, we promise this
We
time.
promise, yeah. And thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.